Good afternoon, ma'am. Thank you so much for joining us here on this platform. It's a pleasure to have you here with us.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here.
You have an industry exposure for 8 years now. What keeps you connected with the education sector, and how has your experience been so far with SP Jain School of Global Management?
What keeps me connected to the luxury education sector is obviously the vibrancy and the entire dynamism of the youth. I love staying connected to the young talents, and that passion of mine to keep being connected with the youth of the country and imparting luxury education is what keeps me going. My experience so far at SP Jain has been absolutely wonderful. It's ever since I joined. Although we were kind of, we were put in a very difficult situation or a challenging situation, but of course because of COVID. But I think despite that, it has been an amazing journey because we've had the most wonderful experience in terms of industry exposure, people coming on board and supporting us, helping us for the young talents. It's been one hell of a journey so far because we've actually had I think a very, very fruitful, a very, very dynamic and a very, very informative I would say online learning platform for our students. So it's been absolutely wonderful so far. And I think the entire team at SP Jain is very helpful, very supportive, very dedicated. So it's been great so far.
Okay. Ma'am, in your opinion, what is the right set of skills a candidate should have in order to pursue Master in Global Luxury Goods and Services Management?
The right attitude is very important when someone wants to work in the luxury sector. Of course, grooming is very important. Grooming yourself, upgrading your knowledge in terms of, constantly going through what's happening in the industry, being updated with relevant sources of information, whether it's, following brands on informative platforms like BOF, Mashable, Flipboard, even their own social media pages. Slight bit of information here and there helps, but I think the right attitude goes a long way. Given that the luxury industry is very niche, it's very tight knit. Word of mouth takes a candidate from one place to another very, very, I think, seamlessly. A candidate needs to be very positive, very always smiling, right attitude, right approach, open-minded. These small gestures, these small characteristics help a candidate a lot. So that's very important to have the right attitude.
Ma'am, as the director of the program, how do you try to bring in practical approach towards subjects and make it industry oriented?
That's something that is, I think, a constant effort. It keeps, I mean, we keep, how do I say, in the right way, if I want to put it, our program goes through a constant evolution. Because when it comes to the actual curriculum, we have, something called as core and non-core modules. So our core modules are actually a very, very beautiful blend of everything that a B school teaches a candidate, from economics to business accounts to finance to supply chain to organizational behavior. So the very fundamentals of a B school learning is what they go through. When you look at a non-core, even though they are called non-core or additional modules, they are, I would say, modules that are handpicked, that are curated by taking in expert opinions of the industry, which we are constantly in touch with. So we are constantly in touch with individuals from the industry, or experts from the industry, be it automotive sector, fashion sector, hospitality, leather goods, different industries within the luxury domain. And because of that constant dialogue that we maintain with them, that we have with them, we are able to bring in change very easily in our curriculum. So, whether it's things like digital marketing, social media, whether you talk about luxury strategy, or relationship building or experiential marketing. These are very, very modern and new techniques that we bring into the program thanks to our very, very close connect or close touch with the industry. So our program is a perfect, I would say, blend of core business modules, and we have a segment which is called our additional or non-core modules, but those are actually more of the industry specific modules, which are more practical, which are more up to date, which talk a lot, more about digital, about the new innovations, new strategies that are being adopted. So this is, I think, something that makes the program very special, very unique, because compared to other, I mean, I wouldn't want to compare, but I would say it is a program which is very future driven, which always looks at what's expected from a candidate. So we always try to bring in that change, or we always try to bring in that evolution by maintaining that constant dialogue with the industry. So that's how we, I think, balance out the program.
Now, what are the interventions and approaches you bring in apart from your curriculum to train or teach the students?
So apart from the curriculum, it's a very good question actually, and we constantly keep doing things like workshops or experiential visits or industry tours, or so these are things. These are, I would say, aspects that we bring into the program, which are very new, which are I would say, we keep experimenting by doing workshops, whether it's grooming and etiquettes or anything to do with the luxury fine dining space or the luxury, space where we bring in new experiences to the students by giving them a constant interface with the industry. And these are over and above what they are already learning. So it could be a small workshop with someone from the industry, like a manager from Louis Vuitton, or someone from Burberry, or someone from the hospitality sector from St. Regis, or from such and such sector, where they come in, they spend additional hours with our students, where they are talking about practical learning, they are talking about skill development, they are talking about enunciation, the right mindset of luxury, because it's very important for an individual who wants to pursue a career in this field, apart from, I would say, classroom learning, or apart from non-core learning, or innovative methods of learning. They also experience a very realistic method, or a very realistic approach. So master classes, power talks, workshops, this is a very, very I would say, normal mode of learning that we follow, that in the entire year, in the entire program, and the exposure that they get with the industry coming on board, doing additional power talks, master classes, whether it's a time in India or whether it's a time in Milan, it continues. So one is obviously that they get exposure, Bombay campus, they get exposure, Milan campus, but apart from the modules that they learn, they also get a lot of industry exposure. So that's very important. So power talks, practical learning, dialogue with the industry, this is very important that they receive.
So ma'am, how does SPJN Global School tend to build an industry connect with this program?
As I already mentioned in my previous answer, that Power Talks is something we constantly do. It not only enables an industry expert to come and have a dialogue with our students, it also enables a student to expand their industry network. These Power Talks, or these forums that we encourage and support, gives the students a platform to get a one-on-one, communication going with the industry, where they can start a conversation with them. They can understand what the industry expects of a student. They can understand what are the nuances of the luxury industry, what are the current changes, what is the movement, what is happening, what is expected from them. So this is something, the Power Talk series that we do, this is something that I would say helps students, not only students, but even the industry to understand what the emerging talents are currently going through, or what the young talents, how our young talents are being trained at an educational level. And it also helps our students to understand what the industry is expecting. So the Power Talk series is, I would say, one of the most important support systems that we give to our students. Workshops, Power Talk series. The Power Talk series or the conversation series, this is it's just a starter. When you actually look at the long term success or the long term result that it gets us, is that most of these Power Talks results in our students getting internships or placements or trainings with those companies. So in a way, it's a very good model because it helps the students get that platform that is much needed, and eventually it helps them land that internship that they dreamt of or that job that they wished for. And even for the industry, it helps them understand the level of the student, groom them in the way that they wish to groom them, and then eventually get them that job or give them that job. And it's a very good platform even for industries because they get the kind of candidate with the kind of grooming, with the kind of knowledge that they want, which is very difficult right now to get in India. People who have the right luxury knowledge. So it benefits both. It benefits the student, it benefits the industry. So that is something that we are very proud that we are able to achieve, that we are enabling.
So, ma'am, how does the institute enhance the skills of the faculty under this program and prepares them according to the industry standards?
Yeah, so that's a good question. Actually, I mean, we maintain a very, very continuous dialogue or very continuous communication with our faculty, where we keep them very much updated with what is happening in the industry, be it by attending seminars, conferences, workshops. We also, because we have that edge, you can say, where we have that international partnership with Politecnico di Milano, of course. Our faculty gets a very good balanced exposure with respect to what's happening with the market in India and what's happening with the market in Europe. And because of that edge that we have, it creates a very good, very balanced atmosphere for them to learn from their peers. So a lot of the faculty who are teaching on the program in the Mumbai campus are constantly also in touch with what's happening at the Milan campus. So it's a very good way to exchange knowledge, to exchange ideas. Okay, what are they doing there, and adapt or maybe adopt certain of those I would say skills or those methods of new innovation, new teaching here as well. So that is one way, of course, by maintaining a constant touch with the Milan team. But apart from that, we encourage a lot of our faculties to participate in workshops, webinars. I mean, even during the period of lockdown, most of our faculties have been, going out, participating in conferences and webinars, which obviously is to upskill themselves. But our faculty, of course, I mean, it's something that as a program director, it's a responsibility of mine to constantly have that communication with them into what new ways, what new innovations, what new methods are they adopting to train the students. I mean, even if you look at the situation now with, teaching on Zoom or teaching on these new platforms, we've been one of the fastest to adapt that platform and to start online, learning. My program, online learning has not stopped. We've been doing online learning since April. We've actually, from 1st of April, we started and we've not stopped. And every month we've got industry, we've got workshops, we've got webinars, we've got every method of learning possible that we've had access to, thanks to our faculties. So, I mean, that's something that we're very, very proud of.
So, ma'am, in your expertise, what possible trends do you see evolving in the industry of luxury goods and services post-Corona period?
We actually have been talking a lot about revenge buying or revenge shopping when you talk about the luxury sector. If you're asking me about trends in terms of consumer, like the consumer behavior, or if you're talking to me about trends related to the way I see the market moving, virtual shopping, so distance shopping, these are things that are already happening in our country. Luxury brands are already adopting shopping via Zoom, or entertaining their customers via personalized Zoom calls, meetings. Revenge buying or buying excessively post corona is something that we really predict. We don't see the market slowing down. Of course, currently the market is, you can say, wavering, it is fluctuating. But it's not completely slowed down. In fact, if I may say so, we've seen we are seeing a very positive change in terms of the consumer behavior, where the consumer wants to buy from their favorite brands. They are waiting eagerly to shop from their luxury brands. Of course, when you talk about different sectors, things can be different. Every sector is not going to experience the same movement. I'm particularly talking about the luxury fashion, leather goods, accessories, grooming, beauty. These sectors are going to experience growth compared to maybe the hospitality or the real estate or the automotive sector, maybe where growth will be slightly slow. If you ask me about, do I think it's going to be positive? Do I think preferences are going to change? Definitely, post COVID preferences will change. Do I think it's going to be beneficial for the luxury segment? I think brands which are fast in adapting to these new methods, be it online services for customers, using Zoom to address to private client concerns, brands which embrace these new methods quicker will be the ones who will see a positive change, compared to those who take longer maybe to adapt to those changes. But we are not expecting the luxury industry to have a very negative impact. We are very positive, and we feel that it's going to be for the betterment. In fact, when you look at jobs or opportunities in the luxury sector, especially in our country, we are already experiencing companies coming to us, asking us for students to come and intern. Even during lockdown, even during COVID, we've had majority of our students, I would say nearly 40% of our students have been in the current batch, have been interning with industry. So we are very happy, and we actually looking at it as a positive change.
Ma'am, please enlighten our viewers on the possible job opportunities in this field, and what does the career ladder looks like?
Like I already mentioned that in my previous answer, that it's been pleasantly surprising for us to see that even during this period, we've had 40% of students going in and turning outside with companies. When you talk about jobs, understand that it's an entire cycle. New methods, new approaches, new inventions obviously call for new talents. We do see jobs opening up more in the digital space for students. Jobs opening up more in the luxury digital space, if I may say so. Jobs opening up more in the content creation forum, where students are required to maybe come and create content for companies. We're already seeing a lot of companies coming and asking us for students who are good in communication, who are good in writing, who are good in creating content, to come and intern with them. And most of the internships, I would say 85 to 90% of the internships convert into full-time placements. So when you look at what I'm looking at going forward in terms of new opportunities, I am looking at new opportunities for young talents in the field of digital with respect to luxury, in the field of content creation, people who are quick, and flexible, and are a little bit tech savvy. They have that luxury knowledge. They will be able to very easily get into these placements, take advantage of these opportunities. Do I see maybe a little bit of a lag in terms of traditional jobs? Yes, maybe. But that's not necessarily, I would say, negative, because every industry is seeing a little bit of a downturn or a slowdown. But because the luxury industry is so dynamic and it is so niche, it's so, tight knit in our country. If you have a good knowledge, if you use this lockdown to, I would say, upgrade your knowledge, by 2021 there will be an array of new opportunities that are going to be waiting for a young professional who is well trained, who has good knowledge, who is good in communication. Of course, doing a program like this is an added bonus because it gives you access to those industry individuals, those industry experts. So I think going forward, these unconventional new jobs in the digital space is something that I definitely see um, booming, of course.
Ma'am, what valuable advice would you like to give the students for them to have a prosperous career?
I always give the same advice, and I think to all my students, I would say even students who come back to me after they've completed the course, that we want to know this from you, we want to know that from you. I think one very very valuable advice that is my from my personal experience I would like to give them is never give up. Always learn, keep learning. Even after your program is completed, learning never stops. Be open minded, have a pleasing personality, very very good. You should have the right attitude, because I think attitude is, the right attitude takes you a long way, especially in the luxury sector. You're not working in a conventional industry, you're working in an industry which is very niche, which is growing, which requires a certain kind of skill set, where you're dealing with a certain type of clientele. So the right attitude, being flexible, being curious is very very important. And of course, if you're working in the luxury sector, work on your communication skills, work on increasing and expanding your knowledge, even if it is by going online and doing your own research. But constantly growing in this sector is very important. Education never stops, even if your program stops, even if you've completed your masters, your program. So that is something that I always tell them: never stop learning.
Ma'am, what will be the career opportunities one will get once they do SP Jain Luxury Management Program?
So obviously it depends on the candidates preferences, whether they want to work, so whether they want to work in hospitality, fashion, leather goods, automotive, food and beverage, wines and spirits. There are an array of opportunities that could be available to them. In most cases, students want to opt for a career option that they connect with the most. But what I can say is that the luxury industry opens up multiple doors of opportunities for you from sector to sector. As I said, fashion, automotive, leather goods, beauty, wines and spirits, real estate, hospitality, tourism, you name it. Obviously, when you do a master's in a program, such in that SP Jain offers, what you can expect is to be a good manager. So a managerial position is something that we always push our candidates to opt for. But we've also seen candidates going into the creative space, the digital space, the content creation space. But in most cases, you can look at landing an executive level managerial position in a luxury organization of your choice, be it fashion or whichever industry is your calling. That is something that we always kind of push our students to look at going for.
Now, what are the benefits of this program? How different this program is from other B schools program?
I think one of the most obvious benefits is the twin city model that the program offers. Because in a very short span of time, in 1 year, 12 months, you get to experience the best of both worlds. You get to experience luxury in our country, in India, and that too in the fashion capital and in the commerce capital, that is Bombay, Mumbai. And then you get to experience luxury in Milan, which is, known as the birthplace of luxury. You get to you are trained from experts coming from both regions. So it is a very, very, I would say, diverse experience that you go through. Apart from the twin city model, a very, very important part of the program is the study tours. So during their time in Milan, our program is split, in 3 different terms. So we have 6 months in Mumbai, 4 months in Milan, and 2 months is their internship period. So talking about the Milan term, the 4-month period, this is the second term, they also have a 15-day study tour where students get to visit the best locations from a luxury perspective. So students get to go to Switzerland, to Germany, to France, not just, to vacation there, but it is called a study tour because it is educational. So, they get to go to different museums, different workshops, different educational sites from a brand perspective. They get to meet Van Cleef & Arpels, Rolex, Ferrari Museum, Lamborghini, Tiffany, you name it. Different brand interfaces is what they achieve. They get to learn during this tour, and this is I would say very, very valuable because they actually get to experience and they are exposed to the true heritage, historic side of luxury. Where where understand learning from books versus learning in the actual ambience where that brand's heritage lies. So they get to experience those things and they get to hear directly from the experts. So the study tour is a very, very important and integral part of the program. Apart from the study tour, term 3, as I mentioned, which is their final stage or the final step before they complete the program. In most cases, term 3 is when students look at doing internships. So term 3 is the period where they can choose to either come back to India or they wish to stay back in Europe. They can go to any city in Europe wherever they get an internship, because term 3 is when they actually do their internship. And whilst they're doing their internship, they also are doing their thesis, their master thesis. So they are individually mentored by the directors, both myself at SP Jain and by Alessandro Brun, who's the director of MIT Politecnico di Milano. So this is another very interesting phase or very interesting segment of their learning, which is both independent as well as it has a very, very integral part where they are interning. So they also learn from getting that industry exposure. So study tour, the term in Milan, and of course their internship segment is a very big part of our program, which I think is very different from any other program that's available here, in our country.
That was a very insightful interview, ma'am. Thank you so much for your time here. I'm sure the viewers are going to learn a lot from this interview here.
Thank you so much. I hope it was helpful for you, Shalvi. And thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.